it wasn't a stupid conversation.
Right.
Too soon.
Too soon.
You know one thing on both sides of the football, at minimum. The left tackle played bad. The right tackle. Welcome to the show that the pros watch. I'm James Brown. While the Pittsburgh Steelers are no longer perfect, thanks to my Washington football team, there's no doubt that my guys most certainly still are. So the first thing I wanted to say, hey, Ray, work with me on this. Washington, there were 4-7 going into the game against the Steelers. Yeah. So I think they're all about inspiration. Ron Rivera overcoming.
Cancer.
And Alex Smith showing what?
Wow. Resilience.
And the young fella, Chase Young.
Just a monster.
No question about it.
Just a leader just by the way he plays the game. And I'm telling you, another factor that people aren't talking about is Jack Del Rio, right? He was my Super Bowl linebacker coach when we first did it. And I'm telling you, you will do anything to play for Jack.
Resilience and overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah. That's a great thing that you brought up in Alex Smith, 2018, overcoming a compound fracture, and then also having 17 surgeries, not to get back to the field, but to save his leg. So definitely great job there. What did I learn this week? I'm not sure what I learned, but there's a big discussion around Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And I can't understand and I can't figure out why people don't believe in Josh Allen. This is one of those guys where you look at the upside. You got to go back to college at Wyoming. You got to look at the conditions he played in. You got to look at who he played with and understand that this kid is developing. And I would go as far as to say that he's being asked to do more because he comes from a pro-style offense. And what do I mean by that? Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator, my offensive coordinator in Miami. He comes from Bill Belichick. This guy is doing it all at the line of scrimmage. He has a great coach, and he's developing. So all this talk about Josh Allen, to me, needs to stop. This is a quarterback that can get it done for years to come.
Wow, good take there. I agree. The haters are out there. They'll never change. As soon as they lose the games, they'll say, what? I told you so. So that's the way it runs, man. That's how the league is. That's how they all are. What did I learn? I learned something about the New York Jets. Of course, the way they played the end of that game was really terrible. And when you look at it, why would you do this with such little time? The safety waits the blitz.
Why call a cover zero
that's
and a rookie cornerback?
Okay, here we go. So we fired Greg Williams over because they play cover zero. Ray, what that means, there's nobody back in the field except the guys covering the wide receivers. Everybody else is blitzing. I don't know why they did it, but Greg Williams gets fired. But look, if you're managing a football team and you're the head coach and you hear that call in your headset, you go, hey, Greg, are you kidding me?
Right, I'm not running that.
We're not doing that.
I'm changing that call immediately.
So the head coach is the manager of the team. Don't always look at the assistants.
You know what? That's really good, Phil. What did I learn? Phil, and I talked to you about this earlier. I've never seen so many plays go east and west in today's football game. Back when I was playing, it was all downhill football.
Yeah.
Every yard meant something. But now, it's these reverses and it's
misdirection.
It's just misdirection. It's just so much going on. We had Tyreek Hill on the studio last week, and this man goes out. I told Michael Irvin this. Who goes out and makes this catch? Look at this catch. Yeah. How do you make this catch? How do you even think about making this?
He doesn't know.
It don't matter if he knows.
He's always in the right position.
He's always in the right position. And then if you got enough time to stop, breathe, and then flip.
That's disrespectful.
That's just disrespectful, guys. So listen, when I tell you what I learned is, once again, you don't know what you don't know, right? And now the AFC is all in shambles because nobody knows who's going to win the AFC. So here we go, Brandon.
Hey, folks, a lot to get to this week, including, as has already been said, Ray said it, the return to the show of Phil's favorite, the one and only Michael Irvin. But we begin with the highlights and we kick off with a mic'd up special. Here's Green Bay Packers All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams wired for the visit of the Eagles on a record-setting day. Hey, that means I'm progressing.
You didn't have to say it. I was just saying. We think alike. We're around.
You always slide your paper. Look at what I wrote down.
Hey, huge props to Alex Smith and the footballers as they end Pittsburgh's perfect season. Now, for the moment, we're going to take a look at the Steelers and pump the brakes on them and some other squads with serious Super Bowl aspirations.
Negativity, baby.
Pittsburgh, Kansas City, New Orleans, and Green Bay. What's one flaw that you might see in those squads? But before we do that, welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey, thank you.
Phil's thrilled to see you.
It's always good to be
missed
here,
you,
man.
Om.
Missed you.
And we missed that pocket square. It's always
Running
All right,
out
enough
of
of
there.
that. Enough of that. Talk about the Pittsburgh
Let's get to the
Steelers.
business, and we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers first. And I think what we'll see is what we saw against the Washington football team. That run game of the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to hold them back. They had 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. And they threw the ball both times. When you just, especially if you know you're going for it on 4th down, you might as well try to run the ball on 3rd down. But the egos, I think, gets in the way because Ben is winning, throwing the football. And kudos to Ben, he's done a great job. But sometimes you got to go with that old thing that Pittsburgh used to do, and that's run the football, and they're not doing that right.
And they was doing it so well the first 5 weeks of the season, averaging over 100 yards. You had Connor averaging almost 5 yards a rush, and then they got away from down there just running the ball 30% of the time. So, yes, you're right. That's a big question mark there. That's fixable, though. The other big question mark around the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a war of attrition. You lose Bush, you lose Bud Dupree to ACL against the Baltimore Ravens. You lose Rob Spill. You also lose Joe Hayden last night. Hopefully he recovers from that concussion. That is a problem. If that defense can't carry you into the postseason, we're going to see an early exit.
Defense struggles when they're not blitzing, playing zone. There's open holes. People throw it on them. So, Michael, you're telling me the coach is a weakness because if he can't stop Big Ben, who is? And, you know, when you're trying to run the football, you don't turn this running game on in 1 week. A running game takes weeks and weeks of hard work to finally get going.
That's right.
So there you go.
And drop passes. They got to clean that up.
Is there a fatal flaw with Kansas City?
You got to get a microscope to get down there. Yes, you do. Okay. But here's the flaw that I would call out. It's probably the rush defense. You know, they tied 23rd in the National Football League with the rush defense. It's just hard to find something with Andy Reid. But the rush defense right now, I think, is an issue.
Me, it's about the blitz. Steve Spagnuolo loves to blitz a lot, and, maybe he didn't do it early in the year, but I watched him the last few weeks against Tampa Bay, and all those great receivers, what they do? They just sent everybody, and they just say, we're going to hit the quarterback before he can find a receiver to hit. And you do that, sooner or later, that backfires. It did against the Raiders when Derek Carr threw it down the field. It only takes one game to blitz one too many times to cost you a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about. You watch a lot of film because I look at my Kansas City notes. I got the same thing. Coach Spags, defensive coordinator in the back end. So Coach Spags, you talked about it. His defense, those blitzes, very complex, exotic at times. He does a lot. He has a hard time of refraining himself from throwing everybody at you. Early on in the season, he didn't do it as much. Last couple weeks, he's done that, and it's been exposing the weakest part of this team, and that's the secondary.
You know, Michael, sooner or later, you turn into who you are.
Michael, New Orleans.
Yeah, and this one is interesting.
That's right.
Because I really, when I say this, I don't want anybody, what is he talking about? I think the flaw here is going to have something to do with Drew Brees. And Drew Brees understanding this last chance you get at this Super Bowl, it will be the defense being the star, not Drew Brees being the star. Drew Brees, first of all, you got to keep him healthy. I mean, I love the Taysom Hill experience, but without Drew Brees, they're not going that far into the playoffs. So they got to get him back. They got to get him healthy and get him on the football field. But he has to accept that the defense is going to be the star of this football team now.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's a great.
Well, we were supposed to look at each team and find out the one area we could say that's going to be something that holds them back. And I went over every position on the field. Their offensive lines of force just kept going. Okay. Yep. And I got through the whole list of all the positions. And there's no answer. They're good everywhere. And that's it. They're good everywhere.
Well, really quick here, that was my last cup of tea there. So 2018, whatever it was, I went there and I was there for a month. And the reason why they wanted to find another option is because they knew if you take out 13 or 41 of the equation, they lose the game. So they were searching. They brought in Dez Bryant. They brought in me. So the answer is they're predictable. They need another option. And that's what's been their Achilles heel the last couple years. That's why they haven't been able to get over
Is there an Achilles heel with Green Bay, finally?
Whew. That's another one because Aaron Rodgers is over there. But now the Green Bay, I will look back and you look at them and say, okay, they've had some issues in the red zone with their defense when you pull that out. And ultimately, when we get in the playoffs, That's going to decide if you can turn teams and make them get field goals instead of touchdowns, then you keep yourself in a game.
I always think back to last year's playoff games. You know, all the games they had last year, 5 times they just got ran over on the defensive side. Been much better this year, but that's what haunts me. Can Green Bay, when the running game gets going against them, can they stop it? I don't know.
You know, the run defense, it's not that they're not tough. They're just not built to withstand that run. If you have a really good run offense, they have trouble.
Good point.
Okay. Hey, is there a fatal flaw on this show?
Yes. Ray Lewis. He's not on. He's not sitting right now. Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis.
Hey, Ray just shouted out. He said, "Be careful now."
And Ray Baltimore wasn't in those top teams. That's why you ain't on this segment.
We had to let you know. Highlights. We turned to the other team with the best record in football as Ray runs over. That would be one of the teams we just talked about, the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's how they raised their record to 11-1 against the Broncos. Close us out. Go ahead.
So good to see you, Michael.
So the Colts do survive a scare in Houston, but you know what? We got to stay in the state of Texas because it's been a difficult year in Dallas, to say the least. But there has been one constant with the Dallas Cowboys, and that constant is, in the midst of all that's going on, Michael Irvin still remains America's wide receiver. Is he pumping up right now?
Smile. What's up with this smile?
This is the happiest moment of your life. He's like,
we've decided to live just a little dangerously today and delve into the mind of the playmaker.
Oh my
Who
God.
knows him best? Is it his wide receiver compadre there in Brandon?
Of course.
Is it Ray, University of Miami?
No, I'm gonna be quiet. I can't tell what I know.
Go so far. Or is it the quarterback? Nobody watches more film.
No, I'm gonna tell the truth.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Start with you, Phil. Which team, aside from the Cowboys, does Michael root for on Sundays? Who do you think?
Gosh, I'm really stunned here for a second. The New York Giants.
New York Giants. Ray?
Man,
Baltimore Ravens?
the Miami Hurricanes. He ain't cheering for nobody else.
On Sundays.
Don't trust me. He's still cheering for the Hurricanes on Sunday. No, you know what? I say Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay. Brandon?
Miami Dolphins.
Michael, answer is?
Listen, it could be Atlanta because I always wanted, I just want Julio Jones' gifts and talents, but it is the Dolphins. Coming out of Miami, I wanted to get drafted to the Dolphins. I always wanted to play with Dan Marino. It's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
1-0, Brandon.
He's from down there.
Yeah, Phil.
Ain't no 1-0, man. You the Hurricanes.
Let's go. Come on. Here we go, Ray.
You better lower your voice.
Hey, Ray, who would Michael say is his biggest competition on the inside the NFL set in an arm wrestling competition? Who's his biggest competition?
His biggest competition? Oh, it'd probably be Phil.
Okay, Phil.
Oh, come on. He has no competition. He can't beat anybody. I'll beat him. I'll do it on the show. Let's go.
You guys are terrible at this game. It's you, JB. He thinks that you got the old man strength and that you're.
You just tried, JB. That didn't end well. I got that on video.
What's the answer?
Right, that's why I went with JB. Hey, JB.
Hey, you know.
JB strong over there, man. I was like, hey.
You know what it is?
Wait. And JB was saying, go ahead.
No.
You right. JB said, go ahead, try it. I said, I am.
But see, JB put it. Look, Michael, JB put his chest up there. That's that old man strength. He said, them young boys don't know what some lunch right here.
I had Phil. I called John after we did. I was like, hey, change that.
Hey, who's the second best dresser on the inside the NFL show? Of course, other than Michael. So that's why we're looking for the second best.
Other.
I think that answer is pretty clear.
Hold on.
Brandon.
Hold on. My phone matches my suits every week. What do you mean? I'm the best dressed. What you mean other than Michael?
Right.
Either you pull up your shoes or pull down your pants. One of them gonna happen. But you're not gonna say you're the best. And you looking like this, what?
Hey, you know what? He pulled his shirt up today. We know now why he wears turtlenecks. Man.
Officially retired.
All right, Michael.
Hold it.
Okay, go ahead. You got it?
I'm saying me.
If Phil is clean.
Why? Why
Phil's been clean now.
Why you?
Because I like me. Be quiet.
Yeah, if Phil is clean. But I go with Ray because Ray got some of that Florida boo-woo-woo-woo in him.
Whoa.
So you know
Look at this. You're so chicken and scared. You got a gray suit with a blue tie.
Final question as we work our way around to the quarterback. If Michael could catch passes from one current quarterback, Who would that be?
Oh, my gosh.
That's easy.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Michael, look at him. Look at
Michael?
Patrick Mahomes.
I like Pat.
Okay.
I like you.
Ray?
I like that. I like that.
I like Pat.
Right?
I can't get the answer away. I can't give the answer away.
Ray, who you got?
Man. Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben, okay. Big Ben.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Michael?
Aaron Rodgers.
Whoa.
Is that it? Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because, listen, I'm only going to beat you on the first route because I'm going to hold you off. I need the ball. I don't Patrick Mahomes. They like throwing. They like second and third routes. Just get the ball out on time. Aaron Rodgers can do that.
But guess who won this one? Brandon won the competition on this one.
Oh, you're right.
After that, there's only one thing to do. Go back to the highlights. Hear the New England Patriots running all over the Los Angeles Chargers.
Hey, you know what? You know what I'm happy about? This is the first time we played a game where Ray didn't cheat.
There's no question that Ryan Tannehill is anticipating a rematch with Myles Garrett and the Browns come playoff time. Well, you know what? Speaking of the Browns, few quarterbacks in recent history have faced as much scrutiny as Cleveland's Baker Mayfield. But we asked the question, has Baker Mayfield become, I don't know if this is even fair to ask, elite level? That might be way too high. If you take a look at the graphic, Phil, walk us through it and give us your thoughts.
Well, this is easy to see. Last season, the completion percentage, touchdowns, interceptions, the team was dysfunctional. They were all over the place. They're going to throw it down the field. It's OB everything. This year, they got a program. They're in balance, and you see the difference in the numbers because Baker Mayfield has presented a whole different look on how to play the game.
What's working well?
It's the right way to play.
Well, I think what's right for him is
That's right.
it's like some people, like a Baker Mayfield, you have to move out, get it out of his own way. How do you do that? You run the ball. You take Kareem Hunt, right? You take Nick Chubb, and you say, listen, we will give you the right times to go downfield. If you saw that.
Sure.
21 interceptions last year. That means Baker Mayfield is throwing the ball where the ball is not supposed
Well, they were
to be
dropping
thrown.
back
Absolutely.
to throw, yes.
And now they're running the ball.
Hey, I would imagine that trust is a major element nowhere where you point on the team. Trust is there. Do you trust Baker Mayfield coming from a wide receiver perspective?
Absolutely not, because it comes a point where the quarterback's going to have to get it done throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I trust him in I don't trust him in situational football. And that's why, when we get into this conversation about Baker Mayfield, I'm on this end of the spectrum where I'm like, I don't think he's the quarterback. And the reason why is, and what we're talking about is, Kevin Stefanski, I call this coaching around. He's coaching around his quarterback. Now, is he an average quarterback? Yeah, but when we have this conversation about elite, is he the face of the franchise? Do we pay him a lot of money? Now this is when I talk about, why is his numbers going up this year? Because he got Kevin Stefanski, and he's coaching his butt off. Creativity out of this world. So when you talk about the run game and then being able to get into play action, you're going to have guys wide open in a flat, 18-yard comebacks, taking shots. Like, the offense that is around him right now makes sense. Now, can they win? Obviously, because they're doing it. So it's two separate conversations. Great job, Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns doing something that hasn't been done since 2007, sitting here right now 9-3. Great feat. But then when we talk about Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, no, I don't trust.
What's he lacking from your perspective? Because that's important, what you were saying about why you lack the trust.
Two things. Ball security is job security, yours and mine. Don't turn over my ball. Don't do that. This ball is precious. So when he's actually asked to drop back 40 times a game, guess what's going to happen?
Bad things.
A couple bad things, maybe 2 picks. And then the other thing is there's a process before you can stand up and say, I'm the man. I don't care about the commercials. The commercials is great. Go make your money, build your brand. But there's a way of presenting yourself in front of the team, in front of your peers. And I think he's getting better at that, but that's a challenge.
Wow, Phil.
Well, yeah, it's a lot, boy. He's gotten much better. And look, if they ask him to drop back 40 times in a game, Brandon, that means many other parts of the team have already fallen apart.
Right.
So is he that guy? No. Baker Mayfield is a 6-foot quarterback. And the way Kevin Stefanski came in there and doing what he's doing fits him perfect. You build your team to fit your talent. He is an excellent play-action quarterback. He is excellent when he's outside the pocket. He can move. He is mobile. He has a good arm. He is what he is. Can you win Big time. Are they going to win the Super Bowl this year, Brandon? Of course not. We didn't know what they were going to be. They're 9-3.
Phil, I'm a high school quarterback. You give me one offseason with you right now today, and you put me in that offense, I'll complete play action passes. Stretch left, boot right, and you tell me got the flat, I got the overcoming, I got an 18-yard comeback. I'm completing that.
I'm not going that far, but I'm like.
First off, he threw many drop-back passes last week and ripped them down the field for cover.
Yes.
So he can do that, but that's not what you want him to do all the time.
I know. I just want to.
When he has to beat you, Baker, I'm not gonna be scared of that. I'm gonna make him. You're gonna have to run the ball on.
But hold on, JB. This is important for to say because we have this two conversations we're having here: Cleveland Browns and how they're winning, and then you also have Baker Mayfield. I've never met the young man.
Right.
Okay, he could be a great kid.
I have.
But when we're talking about elite and all these other conversations, we have an obligation. I have a duty to do, a job to do, to call it how I see it.
Well, yeah, that word elite. The word elite. Let's just get rid. Come on. Who's elite? A couple in the league, and then we always, oh no, but he's got to be elite. No, he doesn't.
Exactly why
he's got to be good enough to be a team player.
That word at the end.
Yeah, it's a terrible.
That's unfair, no question.
Yes.
Hey, folks, let's get back to the highlights and more twists and turns in the NFC West. Seahawks Giants follows our first game, the LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals.
Now, Brandon, I was listening.
232.
I was listening to everything.
So the Giants get a huge road upset at Seattle, and that result, coupled with Washington's stunning win over Pittsburgh, as Michael said, nobody expected those two wins. Now the NFC East, boy, they're looking at winning streaks there with those two teams. They're tied at the top. I want you guys to look down the road and tell us who you think will represent the NFC East as we look at 4 weeks out. Phil, take a look at the remaining schedule of these two teams and give us your thoughts.
Well, my thoughts when I look at both schedules, they're both tough, but there's one thing that's not up there. The New York Giants have beat the Washington football team twice. I think both of these teams will win 2 of their final 4, so that will make the New York Giants the champions of the NFC East.
The Giants, honestly, especially with the game that Cleveland just played and the way they play, they can lose out also, which is what I think will have to happen in order for the Giants to lose the NFC.
Washington has a tough road, too.
What have we learned? We never know who's going to win. Did we think Washington was going to go last night and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No,
did
we
we
did
think
not.
the Giants were going to Seattle? So to go and look down these things and just go, man, it's just pot luck. We don't know what they're going to do, but go ahead, Ray.
Wait, stop. It is not potluck. We are the experts. We do. It's potluck out there. That's why they're tuning in, because we are the experts and we're giving them the information. This is not potluck. I studied hard for you folks. Go ahead on, Ray.
But I'm with Phil, because you don't know what you don't know, Michael. Ted Montebrota kept saying that.
And every time you sit,
it's any given Sunday. And when you watch that game, when Pittsburgh played Washington last night, what did I pay attention to the closest? That front seven of the Washington football team, Chase Young and what Jack Del Rio has that defense doing, I'm just telling you, late in the year, what you must have. You have one of the greatest stories ever in Ron Rivera.
Absolutely.
Right? You have another amazing story in Alex Smith. And then you come with a great balanced run game if that running back is not out for a long time. And now you got that defense. I'm just telling you the formula on what they're building over there. And you watch the way that defense is jumping around. I played for Jack Del Rio. I won a Super Bowl with Jack Del Rio. And I will run through a wall for Jack Del Rio.
Why, Ray?
And Chase Young, because he played the game.
Yeah,
he understands the essence of the game.
He is.
He played that linebacker position, man. He's more than a coach. He's a father. He's a person that sits you down, that makes you appreciate that no man could beat you. And he always tell me that.
I thought it was a great hire when they got. I thought it was a great hire when they got Jack Del Rio, because now he's just coaching the defense, not worried about being a head coach again in the NFL, and it's worked. That front seven is great, but he's not afraid. We talked about this weeks ago. He's not afraid to blitz too to help him out. But Alex Smith, being the quarterback, has brought it together. You know, playing to the defense, playing football like he always has. Very careful, very patient, and his patience wore out the Steelers, and they won that game. Now, the New York Giants, there's a couple things about them. Their defense is as disciplined and organized and to the point as anybody in the NFL. They dominated the Seattle Seahawks in many ways. Russell Wilson didn't know what to do. He's down there trying to run. They had it. So their defensive line, is really coming around.
Yes,
Leonard
sir.
Williams,
Leonard
rushing the quarterback, really good young linebacking core. Bradbury, they picked up a corner who's played very well. So, and the last thing, the Giants, they've been trying to build an offensive line, seems like, for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I swear, I think they got it now. They are mobile.
They physical.
Pulled,
Yep.
They're physical.
Yep.
And the Giants have turned into a different team the last couple of
Hey,
weeks.
one-word answer. Who wins as far as you're concerned between those two?
It's hard to overtake the Giants if they already beat you twice. And so I have to go with
Ray?
the Giants.
Yeah, I know, but I told you guys weeks ago, I love Washington. I just love what they're doing.
Phil?
Well, you know, I'm glad the expert over there and all that study, and I agree with him.
I got it.
So he's got it.
Y'all know Phil is part of y'all. Y'all know Phil, but I'm studying for you.
Michael, let me tell you something. The only thing that you know.
Well, you know what? This actually hurts to say, but the only thing you can say after that epic collapse of the New York Jets is it's time for this week's edition of In. All right, here. Dear Phil and Brandon, I'm a young guy hey, they better ask the defensive guy as well, too, and a Hall of Famer. I'm a young guy just beginning to make my way in the world. So I figured I would check in with a couple of grizzled old veterans for some advice. I'm looking to make a big career move. Any tips you can give me about playing in New York? Ooh. Thanks in advance, Trevor from Clemson.
Oh, you could go.
What do you think?
What I think?
Yes.
You ought to be asking
first
about
of
the
all,
defense, but go
find the meanest person in the media and befriend them. That's the biggest thing. Like, you have to understand how savvy this market is and how aggressive it is. And don't run away from it. Embrace it. That's the best advice I can give them. Embrace the media. Have fun with them. Build relationships.
All I can say is this. He really is so talented. Now is he going to be fortunate enough to be in an organization that can get some players, the coaches and all that to make it work? Because I don't care how good you are, you need help to get it done at quarterback.
For Trevor Lawrence, you would say?
I give some good advice. Get ready to lose. I know you haven't done much of it.
Oh, my God.
Hold on, what?
Get ready to lose some games. He's going to lose some games.
Yeah, I mean, but you going to lead with that? That's the advice you're going to give them?
Yeah, come in. If you know you're going to lose, then you can handle it when you lose, and you can turn this thing around. Not be like me. I was crying like a baby in the locker room.
Ray, does any of this make sense, Ray?
What you're telling the kid is, listen, you're coming into a really tough situation.
Right.
And it's going to be hard to turn that around.
Right.
So he has to be okay with going through those bumps and bruises, which is losses in our business, right? But to Brandon's point, befriend the media. Definitely in New York. We've saw too many people come through this market and do not take full advantage of it. And I think if you land in this market, it's a perfect spot.
Hey, I just want to say this today. Have you guys noticed that Michael's got like 3 voices today, like the devil, then this other one? You know.
Wait. Why my first one got to be a devil?
The devil. Lord, I rebuke that.
All right, wait a minute.
We're going to get away from that one.
Wait a minute.
Hey, Ray is going to pull out the holy oil and take care of this. Don't worry, Michael. Ray's got the holy oil.
I got it for
Hey,
you,
folks,
Michael.
that's it for us. We thank you all for watching. Whatever you saw today, we'll see you next week on Inside the NFL right here on. Pull out the holy oil, Ray.
If you sprinkle holy water on him, the place will burn up.